All right, guys, today we are going to be reacting to Nala compares Andrew's wife to a Slavic person. Let's jump in.
So honestly, well, Nala, you said that you see all these women on TikTok who they want to go back to this idea of traditional womanhood, and you want to go back to being trad women and this type of thing, right? But the thing is that I think most of these women are chameleons, in that when you press them on what they believe traditionalism actually is and what they think submission actually is and this type of thing, they really want an equal relationship or some type of egalitarian relationship. And I think that men categorically reject that more and more. They don't want it. They don't want to have an equally yoked relationship. It's not of interest to men to be equally yoked with women
Equally
in
yoked
that
as
way.
in religion?
I think that when you say equally yoked, that this term is applying to the ontology of men and women, and egalitarianism is not what that means.
Wait, are you talking about like equally yoked as in religion? Like you believe the same thing, or just equally yoked as like you are equal in being human?
Men and women, you would agree with me, right? We have an ontological difference. What
Obviously.
is a man and what is a woman is different. So ontology being the philosophy of being, right? What is the being of a man is not the same as the being of a woman.
Facts.
We're not interchangeable widgets. So saying that we're equally yoked is not saying we're equal. It's saying that there is a process, an ontological process of us being super compatible with each other. This is true if each of us is taking on the role we're supposed to be taking on, which is part of who we are as our being.
Agreed.
But what ends up happening, at least what I see, is that many women claim that they want that role, and then the second they're pushed in this role, or they're in the role and get pushed back in it, they become ultra feminist immediately. They revert to feminism in seconds. If there's a divorce going on, they go from trad to feminist real quick. Look at Steven Crowder's wife, for instance. I can give you example after example after.
Steven Crowder's wife was a bad example of where conservatism was heading in the United States. I mean, you don't get as conservative as Steven Crowder. He got married even virgin. Shout out to him. I like his show. It's very good. He went through a lot. Still, building back. Still pushing forward. You have to give it to them. They're not in an easy space, folks. There's a lot of target because of political reasons. Back to this. Now, when it comes down to these type of topics, meaning gender roles, it's true. As soon as feminism kicks in, as soon not feminism, but I'm saying like as soon you want to put them in a position where they have to hold their roles, all of a sudden the Bible of feminism comes in and they put your feminism right in your face. And the problem is that a lot of these females, they already know that they have the leverage. Steven Crowder's wife knew it from the beginning. And this is what happened. I'm just assuming. Let's say that Steven's ex-wife used to spend a lot of time with females. What if a lot of these females, they put a lot of thoughts on her head? It's very different between your wife having female friends and you having male friends. Very different dynamics.
For example, of women who do this, they instantly move into feminism mode. I think that men generally they just don't believe them. They just don't believe them. They just don't think that they're actually telling the truth, that they're looking for any sort of traditional anything, because when pushed on these actual topics, it becomes more about me, the woman, than it becomes about the submissive role of the woman.
Right,
rather,
but I do think
what do I get? Go ahead.
I don't actually have any specific testimonies to this because I really don't know these people personally. I've just seen that like this is what they're pushing out on social media. So I really have no idea, and I've never pushed them on their views. However, I do feel like women are pushed into this role now because of what's going on social media, and
I think
that a lot of people see like these generational issues and want to be so far from it that they want to be back to the basics. You know what I'm saying? Like they see all of these issues being pushed out daily. Like everyone has an issue with something or someone about some different type of opinion. And some of us just want to get back to the basics of what being a wife is, about being a homemaker, you know, being that nurturing wife for your husband. But again, I've never pushed these topics on any woman.
Being a wife has anything to do with being a homemaker, though.
It does.
I think that
Bro, she lacks humility, my guy. She lacks humility, guys. She lacks humility. Lack humility. She just wanna be need to be right with her. She just not want to be right. My God.
In most situations,
Wow.
we would consider the nuclear family needs a homemaker for sure.
But the homemaker is not the wife, you say?
No, I think that a good wife only has to do with one thing, and the idea of a good wife is the idea of submission, and that is the number one thing which makes a wife a good wife, is a submitted wife,
a submitted slave.
Wow.
So yeah, see what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you revert right to feminism immediately.
I'm definitely not a feminism. I am so
I know, but
pro-male.
submission is slavery.
But you said that's the only role for a woman is for her to submit.
No, I didn't. I said that's a key quality to a good wife.
Is submission? But you don't think she should make a home? A home? You think
No,
what?
I said a homemaker.
No, you can't be a disrespectful wife, be a combative wife, and just make a home. It probably looks nice, but bro, you know very well when you coming into that house, or the devil's gonna come in. That's not, guys. For a good wife, how does your wife show you love? Simple. Respect. And how do you build that respect? Well, submission is one. Right? Respecting your authority. And peace. Those three, man. And make sure make sure that she understands her place. So important, because remember, marriage, you have to think about marriage long term. Even with sex, you have to keep it very simple, folks. I'm being honest with y'all. If you want to just do all the kinky stuff right away, it's going to dry it out quick. You have to stretch it out for the years to come by. You have to stretch that stuff out, man. Some of the guys say you want to go right away to, do monkey backflips and Spider-Man stuff. Like, no, man, you have to stretch this stuff up, man. You have to be smart. I don't think people really understand how difficult is marriage, but at the same time, how simple it could be. And I'm telling you guys, respect is non-negotiable. She had to respect you. And humility, to this lady right here, she lacked humility. She just became a Christian a couple months ago. All of a sudden, she's telling a Christian guy that has been doing Christianity for quite some time now how to be a Christian. You can make this stuff up, guys. My goodness.
Homemaker, right? Whatever you think a homemaker is, tangential to submission, because if you have a homemaker who's not submitted, then who gives a shit?
There we
I
go.
never said it wasn't. I do think a woman should submit to her husband.
Nothing. All other things past submission mean nothing without the submission portion. And the second you say a slave, right? You show exactly why men don't trust these TikTok women, because when pushed on what submission is, you equate it instantly to slavery. So why the fuck should they ever trust you?
It's because of the way you describe it. You really think that you should never bring up a topic to your wife, because ultimately what you say rules. That's it. There's no other option other than that. Your wife is there to listen to you when you want her to listen to you, but that is it. And that she can have no equal say in any type of issue.
Egalitarianism.
Equal say.
But it's because do you feel in any way that your wife brings anything to your?
What does it mean?
Do you feel like your wife? You can keep interrupting me or treat me like an adult and respect
I
me
don't
and
want to
listen.
talk past each other. I just want to know what submission means.
Obey.
I don't want to talk past
easy.
you.
It's easy, but it's also different because biblically, I mean, have you ever heard of like the man is the head and the woman is the neck?
There we go.
No, the woman's the body.
Yo, bro, to talk about boomers sayings, man. Wow, that's such a boomer saying, bro. That's something that the boomers just ate it, man. It's called the first generation, the A feminism, man, and they ended up with the highest divorce rate, folks. You see, man, they have no respect for men, man. That's crazy. No respect. You keep interrupting me, man. You should be. Again, we go back to the same thing. Like, these rules needed to be established right at the beginning of the podcast.
Reflects the body of Christ. The man reflects the head of Christ.
Okay. For me, I've just heard that the man is the head and the woman is the neck. However,
here's biblical marriage. Biblical marriage is the man reflects the head of the church, Christ. The woman reflects the body of the church. Okay, that the church itself is the body. Okay, that is a reflection. So the man is a reflection of Christ. As Paul says, wives, submit to your husbands as you would unto the Lord. As you
Absolutely.
would unto the Lord.
Absolutely.
So the thing is that when you say submission is slavery, you'd be saying the same thing about God. Your submission to God is slavery.
No, it's not. But doesn't Paul refer himself to as a slave of Jesus Christ? And even a servant of Christ. Paul refers himself to a servant as a servant of Christ.
What that has to do with anything, man? Oh my God.
Isn't that not the same thing? Is that not the same thing then?
No, it's not the same thing.
How is it not the same thing?
Because then you end up with this logical contradiction again, the circle. So it works like this. The man is the head, and the man's decision must be adhered to, and you must trust him to adhere to it in a godly way. If you move to point 2, where you say, but I must contradict the man, even though he's doing nothing moral or anything which purports against the reason of Christian ethics, then you move back to, I have no recourse but to listen to the man. So anytime you ask for the justification for the reasoning, right, anytime he gives you that, that's him being extremely kind to you, not a necessity that he does so. It's just a logical circle. It just always moves back.
Right,
to the
but do you
same
not
point.
think that the wife has her own walk with Christ and that it's not the same as her husband's? So do you think that
No.
your walk
That's
with
incorrect.
Christ is very different from your husband's walk with Christ? You are both going in the same
you're
direction.
You're one flesh.
You
You're
absolutely
one
are, but
flesh.
you still have a different walk with Christ than your husband.
She just wanna walk over her husband, go straight to Christ. This is not how it works. And some of you guys were saying like, man, the reason is because when the reason Brian wants to move on for the religion topic is because we don't like it, bro. This is the problem that we have, man. Don't you understand? We skip religion out of the equation. Now we end up with this religion. It's called feminism. That's the religion that's putting right in your mouth. You have to decide, folks. You want to be atheist? That's fine. But you have to be okay with the absence of the religion. They're going to put another religion, whether or not you guys like it. You don't have to be Christian. You don't have to be religious. But you have to understand the structure of society. There's a spiritual realm on this battle, folks. If you take Christianity out of it, well, you have to be okay with the other religion come in, which is called feminism. It's simple as that. If feminism comes in and now it's the main religion, even if they don't call it religion, you have to adhere towards it, and they're gonna put force on you. We haven't talked about that. What about the force behind it? I'm telling you, folks. Some of these people, they don't like to talk about this, but this is the real battle, right here. Right here. This is some of the I do have my bad, it's talking too much, but I do have a hypothesis. I think a lot of these guys don't want none of this stuff to be fixed. I want it to be fixed. I want to move forward because I have kids, I have family. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people have kids and family. I don't like to see marriages that have 5 kids divorcing because female doesn't like, she's not feeling it anymore. She got bored. So let me just destroy a family of 7. Out of nowhere. I'm not okay with that, folks. And this is where they start right here. This is the battle right here. Right here. That's why when they go back and forward, I don't like when Brian stopped the conversation. Because that idea needs to be killed. Metaphorically, of course. Metaphorically. You two, don't be, but metaphorically. That idea has to just be stopped. What happened is, at the moment that Andrew's right there to stop that idea or challenge it. Females jump in, Brian jump in. All this stuff's happen where you cannot really, attack the idea. Might be crazy, but that's my opinion.
Okay, but who do you defer to now? So like, look, for instance, okay, your husband goes to you and he says, this church that we're going to, we're not going here anymore. And you say,
Oh, that's his spiritual leadership.
Hang on. He says, I really like the pastor. I really like this. And he's like, we're not going anymore. We're not going. Who do you defer to?
I need to have a different conversation with my husband, asking him why he doesn't feel this way anymore. I need to see why biblically he doesn't think that this church is good for us.
So he gives you a justification, you disagree.
No, I'm asking questions based off, I am questioning his. I'm not questioning his authority. I'm questioning where he stands with Christ.
He answers your questions, but hypothetically you disagree.
The hell's somebody listening, bro?
No, I never said I disagree. I'm just asking why he thinks this. I'm literally asking his opinion on it. I'm not even disagreeing yet. You're saying that.
Engage with a hypothetical with me. You talk to him, you're asking why, he gives you his reasoning, and you don't agree. So then what's the next?
I don't agree biblically?
You don't agree with why he wants to leave this church.
Well, honestly, that's okay then. So for me, I feel like no matter what, I'm here to serve the Lord, no matter what my husband does or doesn't do. Wow. So if we decide to go to another church, we go to another church under my husband's direction.
We don't decide. He decides. He's saying, we are going to a different church and you disagree. So if
I go to the new church that he would like me to go to, but in the meantime, please let me finish. Please let me finish. If you don't want to be interrupted, I definitely don't want to be interrupted. However,
man, humility, bro. She has no humility, man. What a problem. No humility, folks. Zero. She's trying to. This is so wrong. She's trying to defend Christianity from a position of very, very weak faith, folks. Why? Humility requires you to be quiet. You have to be quiet. You don't become a Christian and then you tell people that have been studying their religion for quite some time how to be Christian, folks. You don't do that. You just listen and recognize that you've been doing wrong. Humility comes from silence. But she just want to tell us how to be Christians now. Man, get the hell out of here, man. We're not doing that. There's a lot of Sims in my comment section, but you know what? Sims, comment in my videos because that does help the algorithm.
You're asking me a question and I'm trying to back it up with what I actually think. So if he wants to go to a different church, that's fine. Let's go to a different church. But in the meantime, I can sit and pray and ask God, hey, listen, God, I think this was the wrong decision, but I am here to serve my husband like you told me to. So prayer can change everything. So God can literally come down and change his heart if what we're doing is wrong biblically. But again, yes, it is my role to submit to my husband no matter what.
Right. So then if he gives you zero justification, right? So he says, we're just leaving the church and I don't want to give you a reason as to why. Are you still going to leave the church with him?
Yes.
Okay. Then the justification part is simply a preference and not a requirement, because ultimately what you're saying there, Mrs. Andrew loves enslaving women, is that regardless of if he justifies or not, you're going to fucking do it anyway. So if that is the case, then can you tell me why it's a requirement for him to create the justification to begin with?
Number one, you said it was a requirement. I never said it was a requirement for him to tell me why he was going to do something. All I said was I would ask his opinion on it. I never said it was his requirement to tell me. Asking a question is not a requirement. He can completely ignore me if he wanted to.
Then how is my view of submission slavery, Nala?
Because are we referring to the video of this girl bowing?
You see how he did it now? You see how he did that? He brought it all the way back to the beginning. He's very good at that. Good salesmen, they do that stuff. They always go. They always bring you to all this road over here, and you think that you are here, but in reality, the salesman's thinking about here, and they bring you back. I forgot what's the name of that. That's a couple layers. It's a couple layers of sales tactics. So they bring you over here, and you were here entertained here, and you don't notice that he just keep breaking your onions. He's going one layer after the other. one layer after the other, right? And then all of a sudden he brings you back, right? Or here, he brings you back. And how is that slavery? And you're like, oh, shiitakes. Got caught. That's what he did.
And serving her husband
no,
like that.
You said my view of submission was slavery. How is it?
You can't see it.
How is my
There's a
view
glare.
of submission slavery if you literally agree with my view of submission?
That was
Well,
good.
because
That was
the
good.
way
There we
the
go.
way you
There we
go
go,
about it
folks.
is saying like, so no matter what, I'm gonna make the decisions.
There you go. Now let's in a corner. And guess what? Mr. Brian jumps in to save the world, man. Love the podcast, but he does that, man. He does it. He does it. He just simply does it.
Basically, F her. Like, it doesn't matter. She's the wife. I don't care. Like, what she has to say. But you don't think that she could bring anything spiritual to the relationship because
Never
what?
said
You're the
anything
man?
of the sort. It's ultimately his decision. I just said it's ultimately his decision. So if it's ultimately his decision, you agree it's ultimately his decision. You're going to comply with it whether he justifies it or not.
Did I not
That's
say that it was
exactly-
obeying?
And that's exactly my view. Then how in the world could you then say that's because, Andrew, you want a slave? That makes no sense.
Just the way you speak about your wife is quite difficult for me to
Would you
understand.
would you like to talk to my wife?
Oh my God, can we?
Look at her. She's like, I don't think that's a good idea. I watched a couple episodes. You're not going to like it.
Get her on. Let's talk to your wife.
Bring Rachel out.
Let's get Rachel.
God help you if you talk to Rachel. Okay.
Let's get Rachel.
Wait, but let's meet
We love Rachel.
Speaking of which,
I'm the nice
Girl.
one, Nala.
hey, speaking of which, we also need to get Nala's husband.
Oh, it's getting spicy here. Well, guys, let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in our next one.